Hello, good morning. In this topic, proceed about security engineering, and in this chapter, we talks about security and dependability, security in organizations, security requirements, secure systems design, designs guidelines for security engineering. For our first topic, let's talk about security engineering. Security engineering is a subfield of the broader field of computer security. It encompasses tools, techniques, and methods to support the development and maintenance of systems that can resist malicious attacks that are intended to damage a computer-based system or its data. Next, let's talk about the three dimensions of security. First is yung confidentiality. Information in a system may be disclosed or made accessible to people or programs that are not authorized to have access to that information. And in integrity, information in a system may be damaged or corrupted, making it unuseful or unreliable. And lastly is yung availability. Access to a system or its data that is normally available may not be possible. Next, let's talk about the three levels of security. First, infrastructure security is is concerned with maintaining the security of all systems and networks that provide an infrastructure and a set of shared services to the organization. And application security is concerned with the security of individual application systems or related groups of systems. Operational security is concerned with the secure operation and use of the organization's systems. Next, application security. Application security is a software engineering problem where the system is designed to resist attacks. Infrastructure security is a systems management problem where the infrastructure is configured to resist attacks. Next, system security management involves user and permission management, adding and removing users from the system and setting up appropriate permissions for users. Software deployment and maintenance, installing application software and middleware and configuring the system so that vulnerabilities are avoided. Attack monitoring, detection, and recovery. In this part, monitoring the system for unauthorized access, design strategies for resisting attacks, and develop backup and recovery strategies. Next, operational security is primarily a human and social issue, which is concerned with ensuring the people do not take actions that may compromise system security. Users sometimes take insecure actions to make it easier for them to do their jobs, and therefore a trade-off between system security and system effectiveness. Since in this part we talks about the security and dependability. Okay, the security of a system is a property that reflects the system's ability to protect itself from accidental or deliberate external attack. Security is essential as most systems are networked so that external access to the system through the internet is possible. Security is an essential prerequisite for availability, reliability, and safety. Now, uh, we talks about the terminologies in reliability. First term is asset, and this is the description. Something of value which has to be protected. The asset may be the software system itself or data used by that system. Next is yung attack. An attack, an explanation of a system's vulnerability. Generally, this is from outside the system and is a deliberate attempt to cause some damage. Next is yung control. Control is a protective measure that reduces systems vulnerability. Encryption is an example of a control that reduces a vulnerability of a weak access control system. Next is exposure. Possible loss or harm to a computing system. This can be loss or damage to data, or can be loss of time and effort if recovery is necessary after a security breach. Next is the threat. Circumstances that have potential to cause loss or harm. You can think of this as a system vulnerability that is subjected to an attack. Next is yung vulnerability, a weakness in a computer-based system that may be exploited to cause loss or harm. Now, let's proceed to security assurance strategies. First is yung vulnerability avoidance. The system is designed so that vulnerabilities do not occur. For example, if there is no external network connection, then external attack is impossible. Next, attack detection and elimination. The system is designed so that attacks on vulnerabilities are detected and neutralized before they result in an exposure. For example, virus checkers find and remove viruses before they infect a system. Next, exposure limitation and recovery. The system is designed so that the adverse consequences of a successful attack are minimized. For example, a backup policy allows damaged information to be restored. Now, let's talk about the security and attributes of dependability. First, security and reliability. If a system is attacked and the system or its data are corrupted as a consequence of that attack, then this may induce system failures that compromise the reliability of the system. Next, security and availability. A common attack on a web-based system is denial of a service attack, where a web server is flooded with service requests from a range of different sources. The aim of this attack is to make the system unavailable. Next, security and safety. An attack that corrupts the system or its data means that assumptions about safety may not hold. Safety checks rely on analyzing the source codes of safety critical software and assume the executing code is a completely accurate translation of that source code. If this is not the case, safety related failures may be induced and the safety case made for the software is invalid. Security and resilience. Resilience is a system characteristic that reflects its ability to resist and recover from damaging events. The most probable damaging event on network software systems is a cyber attack of some kind, so most of the work now done in resilience is aimed at deterring, detecting, and recovering from such attacks. After that, we will proceed to the next topic, which is security and organizations. In this part, we all know that security is expensive, and it is important that security decisions are made in a cost-effective way. There is no point in spending more than the value of an asset to keep that asset secure. Organizations use a risk-based approach to support security decision making and should have a defined security policy based based on security risk analysis. Security risk analysis is a business rather than a technical process. Now, let's proceed to the security policies. Security policies should set out general information access strategies that should apply across the organization. The point of security policies is to inform everyone in an organization about security, so this should not be a long and detailed technical documents. From a security engineering perspective, the security policy defines, in broad terms, the security goals of the organization. And the security engineering process is concerned with implementing these goals. Now, let's talk about the security policies principles. First is the assets that must be protected. It is not cost effective to apply stringent security procedures to all organizational assets. Many assets are not confidential and can be made freely available. The level of protection that is required for different types of assets. For sensitive personal information, a high level of security is required. For other information, the consequences of loss may be minor, so a lower level of security is adequate. The responsibilities of individual users, managers, and the organizations. The security policy should set out what is expected of users, strong passwords, log out of computers, and office security, and etc. Existing security procedures and technologies that should be maintained. For reasons of practicality and cost, it may be essential to continue to use existing approach to security even where these have known limitations. Now, let's talk about the risk assessment and management. Is concerned with assessing the possible losses that might ensue from attacks on the systems and balancing these losses against the cost of security procedures that may reduce these losses. Risk management should be driven by an organization security policy, and risk management involves first issue preliminary risk assessment. The aim of this initial risk assessment is to identify generic risks that are applicable to the system and to decide if an adequate level of security can be achieved at a reasonable cost. The risk assessment should focus on the identification and analysis of a high-level risk to the system. The outcomes of the risk assessment process are used to help identify security requirements. Now, let's proceed to the designed risk assessment. This risk assessment takes place during the system development lifecycle and is informed by the technical system design and implementation decisions. The results of the assessment may lead to changes to the security requirements and addition of new requirements. Known and potential vulnerabilities are identified, and this knowledge is used to inform decision making about the system functionality and how it is to be implemented, tested, and even deployed. Operational risk assessment. This risk assessment process focuses on the use of the systems and the possible risks that can arise from the human behavior. Operational risk assessment should continue after a system has been installed to take account of how the system is used. Organizational change may mean that the system is used in different ways from those originally planned. These changes lead to new security requirements that have to be implemented as the system evolves. After that, we proceed to the security requirements. And security requirements, uh, security specification has something in common with safety requirements specification. In both cases, your concern is to avoid something bad happening. Uh, this is the list of four major differences. First, uh, safety problems are accidental. The software is not operating in a hostile environment. In security, you must assume that attackers have knowledge of system weaknesses. When safety failures occur, you can look for the root cause or weaknesses that lead to the failure. When failure results from a deliberate attack, the attacker may conceal the cause of the failure. Shutting down a system can avoid a safety related failure. Causing a shutdown may be the aim of an attack. Next, safety related events are not generated from an intelligent adversary. An attacker can probe defenses over time to discover weaknesses. Security requirements classification. First is yung risk avoidance. Requirements set out the risks that should be avoided by designing the system so that the risk simply cannot arise. Risk detection. Requirements define mechanisms that identify the risk if it arises and neutralize the risk before loss occur. Risk mitigation. Requirements set out how the system should be designed so that it can be recovered from and restore system assets after some loss has occurred. Now let's talk about this part. First, we see the asset identification, and asset identification proceed to the asset value assessment. Now it, uh, it the next is exposure assessment, and the last part is security requirement definition. And after that, uh, the next part is yung asset identification also. And uh, sorry for the inconvenience. Next, let's proceed to the asset identifications. First is yung threat identification. After that, the attack assessment. Yeah. I-assess mo na yung mga attacks. Then, after the assessment, eh, to check yung control identification, and if there's no attack, then it proceed to the security requirements definition. Next, if control identification, then the check feasibility assessment, magpo-proceed sa security requirements definition. Okay, let's talk about those part. Ito, pag-usapan po natin. First is yung asset identification. Identify the key systems, asset, or services that have to be protected. Okay, next, asset value assessment. Estimate the value of the identified assets. Next, exposure assessment. Assess the potential losses associated with each asset. Threat identification. Identify the most probable threats to the system assets. Attack assessment. Decompose threats into possible attacks on the system and the ways that this may occur. Next is control identification. Propose the controls that may be put in place to protect an asset. Feasibility assessment. Assess the technical feasibility and cost of the controls. And the last part is yung security requirements definition. Define system security requirements. This can be infrastructure or application system requirements. Misuse cases or instances of the threats to a system. First is yung interception threats. Attacker gains access to an asset. That's the interception threats. Next is yung interruption threats. Attacker makes part of a system unavailable. Next, modification threats. A system asset if tampered with. And last part is yung fabrication threats. False information is added to a system. We proceed to the next part. Next topic is yung secure systems design. Security should be designed into a system. It is very difficult to make an insecure system secure after it has been designed or implemented. Adding security features to a system to enhance its security affects other attributes of the system. First is yung performance. Additional security checks slow down a system so its response time or throughput may be affected. Next is yung usability. Security measures may require users to remember information or require additional interactions to complete a transaction. This makes the system less usable and can frustrate system users. Let's proceed to the design risk assessment. This design risk assessment is done while the system is being developed and after it has been deployed. More information is available: system platform, middleware, and the system architecture and data organization. Vulnerabilities that arise from design choices may therefore be identified. And during architectural design, two fundamental issues have to be considered when designing an architecture for security. Next, protection. How should the system be organized so that the critical assets can be protected against external attack? This is the layered protection architecture. First is yung platform level protection. This is the top level controls on the platform on which a system runs. Next is yung application level protection. A specific protection mechanism built into application itself. Additional password protection, even the login system, log out. Record level protection. Protection that is invoked when access to specific information is requested. Next, distribution. Distribution. How should system assets be distributed so that the effects of a successful attack are minimized? Distributing assets means that the attacks on one system do not necessarily lead to complete loss of system service. Each platform has separate protection features and may be different from other platforms so that they do not share a common vulnerability. Distribution is particularly important if the risk of denial of service attacks is high. And this last topic, it talks about design guidelines for security engineering. Design guidelines encapsulate good practice in secure systems design. Design guidelines serve two purposes. They raise awareness of security issues in a software engineering team, and they can be used as the basis of a review checklist that is applied during the system validation process. Design guidelines here are applicable during software specification and design. First is yung base decisions on an explicit security policy. Define a security policy for the organization that sets out the fundamental security requirements that should apply to all organizational systems. Avoid a single point of failure. Ensure that a security failure can only result when there is more than one failure in security procedures. For example, have password and question-based authentication, and even the puzzle. Fail securely. When systems fail, for whatever reason, ensure that sensitive information cannot be accessed by unauthorized users even although normal security procedures are unavailable. Next, balance security and usability. Try to avoid security procedures that makes the system difficult to use. Sometimes you have to accept weaker security to make the system more usable. Log user actions. Maintain a log of user actions that can be analyzed to discover who did what. If users know about such a log, they are less likely to behave in an irresponsible way. Use redundancy and diversity to reduce risk. Keep multiple copies of data and use diverse infrastructure so that an infrastructure vulnerability cannot be the single point of failure. Next is specify the format of all system inputs. If inputs formats are known, then you can check that all inputs are within range so that unexpected inputs don't cause problems. Next is compartmentalize your assets. Organize the system so that assets are in separate areas and users only have access to the information that they need rather than all system information. The next is yung design for deployment. Design the system to avoid deployment problems. And lastly, design for recoverability. Recoverability. Design the system to simplify recoverability after a successful attack. And that's all. Thank you po.